Today on the Barry Cunningham Show, we're going to be talking about whether anybody ever has to pay rent again in South Florida. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Seeing how things are going. So we're going to talk about that and delve into whether or not being a landlord makes any sense whatsoever.
Your source for profit. Hear what you need to know to succeed in today's real estate market.
So I'm here hitting the wrong buttons and everything. Went to the commercial instead of the intro. Trying to get everything straight. Getting back into it after a great Christmas break. Hope you guys had a fantastic Merry Christmas. It's the one time of the year where I just feel like we can just settle down and get back to normal, whatever normal means to you. It's crazy right now. It's absolutely crazy. I'm befuddled, bamboozled, bedazzled. I don't know. What I do know is being a landlord in South Florida is a precarious position to be in right now. I've spoken about it many times. I'm not sure what we need to do as landlords. Well, actually, I am sure. And I'll say it again right now, and I've said it many times. If you're going to be a landlord in South Florida for the foreseeable future, I would shift my investment strategy into dealing only with Section 8 properties. I would not buy rentals right now and just put them on the open rental market. It's just too dangerous. You see, today's looking at the calendar here, today's the 29th. So on the 29th, we're talking 2 days. The CDC moratorium expires, at which point it's going to get renewed. In fact, it may already be renewed depending on how this thing went with the stimulus, where they automatically gave an extension to January 31st. So that means a lot of people aren't going to be collecting rent until January 31st. But if Biden gets in, you can bet some of these people are looking at canceling rent for all of 2021. No kidding. I am not kidding. They're thinking about canceling rent for all of 2021. Let me just show you something. So this was posted today. Absolutely, today. Let me just blow it up a little bit so you guys can see it better. And so right now you can see this. This was from Andrew Cuomo in New York, state of New York. I was going to say New York City. And what this says, in no uncertain terms. Last night, I signed legislation extending the moratorium on residential evictions until May 1st, protecting tenants and homeowners for the economic hardship of the pandemic. People, May 1st. That's New York. It's not here in Florida. We have to admit. And things are a little bit crazy up in New York City, New York State. I wouldn't want to be there at all right now. It's just nuts. But that being said, we need to figure out down here how we're going to address this entire situation. Because when you see things like this happening, and you can see that on the what would I say? The theme here is to not have to pay rent for the foreseeable future. They are sticking it to landlords. Now, I understand it was New York they were talking about in this article, but another article also popped up, Housing Justice Advocates, Housing Justice. I didn't know there was such thing as Housing Justice Advocate. I thought that a Housing Justice Advocate might have been a landlord, but Housing Justice Advocate call on CDC to extend the federal eviction moratorium. Extend. May 1st isn't going to be good enough. The federal government needs to extend this for possibly an entire year. This article is absolutely nuts. If you're a landlord, I would be terrified, absolutely terrified that they're talking about this thing. They're saying that although it's A $900 billion package. Say that with me. $900 billion package. If you haven't been following along at home for the last week or so, and you're seeing exactly what these people are talking about, they're writing checks with no money. Just writing checks, and there's no way to cover this. There's just no way. We're going to be in debt forever. If we ran our households this way, we wouldn't have households, but they're just making money up. So if you go down here and say, see what they've written, hopefully you can see it. Prolonging the moratorium by only 1 month is insufficient, and $25 billion is only a quarter of the National Low Income Housing Coalition says is needed. That's insane. $25 billion is only a percentage of what we want you to waive and give away. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine being a landlord right now, and you haven't received rent for, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months, and now people are saying we're going to extend that for 2021 as well? It effectively will kill the rental market in certain cities. Now, here in Boca, probably not. Probably not have to worry about it too much. Fort Lauderdale, yeah, you're going to have to worry about it. Some of the smaller cities that have some income problems, you're going to have to worry about it. But the only way around it is through Section 8. There is no other way, guys. It's just not going to happen. At least with Section 8, and I know this whether it's Trump or Biden, we will have our monthly rent sent to our checking account every single month like clockwork. Government makes sure that those tenants are paying. They're not waiving it. Understand that. If you own a Section 8 property, or actually have a property with a Section 8 tenant, you don't have anything to worry about. There's two things that always get paid here. Government officials are getting paid. They're all getting their paychecks. And the government is sending out money to Section 8. Section 8 tenants have not missed a month of rent. Section 8 landlords have not had to worry about any of this stuff. Think about that. The entire time of the pandemic, the Section 8 landlords have been getting paid over and over and over. And not just a little. They get the full market rent as determined by HUD, which in some areas can be quite substantial. So the idea behind it is find these properties that you can begin putting Section 8 tenants in it. That's what they want. If you can't read the tea leaves and the shift that's happening in the market, you're going to be in really big trouble. You're not going to understand that the money to be made in real estate, the money that's coming our way, is based upon funds that are going to Section 8. Yeah, you're going to be able to flip some houses. We're all going to be able to do that. There's going to be some people who want to buy a house and live in it. But if you plan on being a landlord and do a buy and hold strategy, you better be looking at Section 8. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second.
Your source for profit. Hear what you need to know to succeed in today's real estate market.
So I'm back, and that time I did it right. Just a short intro. So you understand this? You understand where we're going here? You understand that everything we're seeing is going to be predicated upon how the national movement goes. So let's look at this thing in detail. I'm going to put up what exactly it was that Cuomo approved in New York State. And it's kind of scary. So he created the COVID Emergency Eviction and Foreclosure Prevention Act of 2020 and signed it. I guess, what did he say? He said he signed it last night. So now this is law in New York. Now Cuomo and Biden are very close. They are very close. I'm sure they're already talking about it. This may be the model that comes to South Florida. And when it comes to South Florida, as it probably will, yeah, there's a good chance that tenants might not pay rent ever again. I'm being facetious there. Yeah, I may be going too far and talking about that and playing on words. But from a landlord's perspective, if you haven't been paid for 6, 7, or 8 months, and you're not going to get paid for at least 6, 7, or 8 more months, it is forever. It means your tenant is never paying rent again, because how many people who own rental property can go a year with no rent? It doesn't say you forgive the mortgage. And a lot of this foreclosure prevention stuff does not count for investment properties. So the banks are going to be able to foreclose on the investment properties, and there's not much the landlords are going to be able to do except pay. Well, there's something else they can do, and I'll talk to you about that in a second. Smart ones are watching this video right now and going, wait a minute, I see where Barry's going. You damn right. Think about that. Think about that for a second. I'm only going to be here a short time today because I'm real busy. It's the end of the year, but I'm gearing up to buy some property. I'm gearing up to put some, Section 8 tenants into a house or an apartment or quad or duplex, triplex. I know where to find it. So let's go back to this law thing that, what's his face? Cuomo put together. So we're going to scroll through this, and this is where it gets really interesting. People don't read, and I implore you to read. But he goes, today I signed the COVID-19, yada, 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 prevents residential evictions, foreclosures. Notice what else they stuck in there. Credit discrimination and negative credit reporting related to the COVID. So what that means is, hey, listen, even though I didn't pay for a year, you can't report it on my credit. You can't hurt me. So why would I even bother paying? That's what we're going to be seeing happen. Since now he's telling us, not only do they not have to pay, but you can't report me. You can't even tell me that, I can't report you to tenant boards. I can't report you to HOAs. I can't report you to credit databases. You cannot put negative credit reporting related to the pandemic on someone's credit report. That is now illegal in New York. But they spent a lot of time crafting this. And in crafting this, it is going to be, in my opinion, big asterisk, a blueprint to roll out across the country. They've had Elizabeth Warren, they've had it in their sights to go after credit bureaus. I always told people, I said, you'll notice when things change, when they go after the credit bureaus. There's a permeation of equality going on right now. Financial, racial, social equality. What's one of the one things that separates people from others? Credit bureaus. If John goes to buy a car, get a loan, buy a house, get a job, and he comes back with a 470 or 500 credit score, and Jennifer goes in and she's got a 680 or 700, automatically the person is predisposed to thinking Jennifer is a better person. She pays her bills. And Jennifer can, again, prosper because she's going to be able to get a loan, buy a house, buy a car. Whereas Fred, who's got the 450 or 500 credit score, he's not going to be able to do much. He's stuck. He's oppressed. He's a victim of systemic oppression. We need to do away with that. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're now going after the credit bureaus. You have to see this. I don't know if I'm a news hound. I'm a news junkie. I will jump into stories and really read deep. And then I bring it over here and talk to you about it. And then I allow you to see it. Because unless you know what's going on, unless you really understand what's going on, you're going to fall for some of the most idiotic crap out there. And you're not going to know what's going to hit you, especially with these crazy laws. And so what ends up happening is now that they're going to go ahead and do away with credit reporting, actually in New York, which is probably one of the biggest financial markets in the world, if not definitely the country. Imagine being a landlord and renting a property, taking applications, and you can't see any information on the person that you're renting to. Sure, you can verify a job. That doesn't tell you anything. You don't know what the history of this person has been. You don't know if the last 8, 9, or 10 months they haven't paid rent. You don't know if there's evictions on their records. You don't know if they've had foreclosures or credit cards they didn't pay. And you're not gonna know. This bill says it straight up. They're going to prevent you from reporting negative information on a tenant's credit report. So you're not going to be able to even know who it is that's renting your property. And they're doing this in the era of equality. This will make everything equal. This will make people feel better because they're not being discriminated or oppressed. I'm going to be on the same level with the guy making $1 million a month. Like, of course, you can ask for bank account records and things of that nature, but you're not going to have that $1 million tenant coming in. Most of the tenants that come in a certain area, you know by the demographic what they're doing. So if they know they have a job, that'll get checked. But other than that, if they do have a job, that doesn't mean the job will be there tomorrow. Doesn't mean it'll be there next week. And you have no way of verifying anything about their credit. Yes, big asterisk. This is New York. This new thing that he just put out is in New York, in New York City. But as close as Cuomo is to Biden, and with the ideology that these people have in making sure everybody's on the same playing field, this is part of the great reset that they've been looking to do. This is going to be something that they can hang their hat on and, basically say, hey, we're all going to be in this together. They love this build back better together, all these different things. This is what you voted for. This is what you got. I hope you're ready for it. Talk to you in a second.
Your source for profit. Hear what you need to know to succeed in today's real estate market.
Hey, listen, we've got a number of good deals that we're looking at, and we're looking for people who want to come in and invest in these deals. Very secure first mortgage positions, going to get you returns of 8, 10, 12% or more per year. And if you're a participant in the deal, you could actually see 30, 35% return on your money. If you're interested, please feel free to give me a call. I'd love to speak with you and see if we can't put you in a deal. My name again is Barry Cunningham. I am a real estate investor here in South Florida. I've been involved in 1,000+ transactions over the last 25 years. And I've never seen, despite everything we're talking about today, I have not seen something with as much opportunity as we're seeing right now. You see, that's where a lot of people don't get. They see all this news. And it seems very ominous. There's some dark clouds. But on the flip side, I look at this as tremendous opportunity. And what I meant by that earlier is that imagine all of these landlords who haven't been able to get their tenants to pay rent, who haven't been able to do anything with their property because these people are basically squatting in their houses. Do you think these people are motivated to sell? And given the problem of having a tenant stuck in their property, do you think these people are motivated to even take a discount just to get the heck out? Remember, they're sitting on basically a non-performing asset. Joe bought this duplex. He's rented it out to 2 or 3 people, and nobody's paying rent. And he's got a mortgage, and he can't do anything about it. You think you could find some leads where there's some landlords out there who just have had enough? I do. I know so. But then you say, Barry, what do you do with the tenant if you buy the property from this guy? We know he's in trouble, but then he's got tenants in there that won't pay. What are you going to do? Well, I'm going to tell you what you do. You ready? And I want you to listen. Tell me you're listening. Make sure you listen here. Go ahead and write down what you need to write down. What, hear my wife talking. What I would do is go to these tenants. And when I'd go to these tenants and I would offer them money to get out of the property. You see, if I'm getting a deal and a deal has $100,000 spread and I could put Section 8 tenants in these properties, then the easiest thing for me to do is go to these people and say, I will give you $5,000, $6,000 to move out. Cash. Where are they going to go? Not my problem. But if I can get them to take that $5,000 or $6,000 at closing, once they're out the property, because I'm not giving you any money while you're still there. That'd be suicide. But if I give you $5,000 or $6,000 to get out of the property, and that's a big enough carrot for you, then it's a home run of a deal. I get a free and clear property, not free and clear, but it's free of tenants. I have a new duplex that I can put Section 8 tenants in, and then I can run with that. That's going to make you some serious money. That's how you make money in today's real estate market. You've got to be creative. You've got to figure out a way to get these people out of the property so you can move forward with a good deal. Be creative. Understand that there's deals to be had out there, and it's so opportunistic right now. There is so much opportunity between people in foreclosure. Remember, good people in bad situations. There are people with equity who need to pull some money out, but maybe they can't afford to get a mortgage or a second mortgage right now or a refi because they're not working. I've talked to you about this for a long time. People in restaurants, salons who had cash, who had a lot of money, and they were paying their mortgages every single month. And now they're 6-7 months behind in their mortgages and their restaurants are closed. Luckily here in South Florida, restaurants are open up again, but there may be a lot of people who work their own restaurants who still haven't recovered. These kind of people, good people in bad situations, are going to be looking for a lifeline. And that's what the idea here is. Give these people a lifeline. So when I'm looking at these kind of laws that they're putting here, and they're stopping people from actually being able to do what they need to do to become whole, and you can see what's happening, and you can actually look and see that they're calling all kinds of things that the eviction is now a health hazard. There was an article a while back, maybe right before Christmas, that said that people being evicted is creating health hazards and people are dying because they're getting evicted, and they're tying that to the COVID. They're doing everything they can to put pressure, downward pressure on capitalistic people, not understanding that the answer to the situation is capitalism. Not understanding that, hey, listen, I'll buy this piece of property, I'll make some money, and I'll let the government pay me. At this point, it seems like this is the only way out of it for some of these people. For some landlords, what we're seeing is the real prospect that their tenants may not pay rent for all of 2021. We're approaching, today's 29th, we're approaching the new year in a couple days. Now it went from December 31st to January 31st. New York's now May. How long do you think people who own rental property can hold out with no income? How long could you hold out with no income? Put yourself in their shoes. You can be their savior. I can be their savior. I don't mean religiously, but I can help them get to a better situation. There's nobody else knocking on the door. There's nobody else coming with a solution. Come with that solution and help these people get better, get in a better state financially. Because the prospect and prognosis down the road is scary. Take this show and show them, hey, listen, do you know that the eviction moratorium is now January 31st? Possibly here in Florida, it may move to May or sometime beyond that. What are you going to do? Wake up. Slap a person. Get up. That's what we need to be talking about. We need to let people understand that the prognosis for where they are right now is likely to get worse. I hate being a doomsayer, but I'm not a realtor. I'm going to tell you the truth. And when I see stuff like this, when I see stuff that says, hey, listen, you can't kick people out and you can't even report the negativity to their credit report, I'm being a realist. I am being a complete realist. It's not about rose-colored glasses. It's not like everything is great in real estate. It's not. I don't care what they say. I don't care what report. You have to be an idiot to think that everything is fine. It's not. You have an entire sector of the real estate industry, the rental market, that's bruised and battered and may not change for quite some time. You've got tens of thousands of people behind 120 days or more on their mortgage that no one talks about. Tomorrow's show, I'm going to show you specifically how many people are underwater right now and behind on their mortgage, who have list pendencies already filed, just waiting, who have final judgments waiting to be executed. You're going to be amazed. Nobody here, I don't know a single realtor here in South Florida that's talking about this. Not one. I challenge you, leave me a comment. Tell me if you've heard one realtor talk about the lava that's just heating up in the South Florida real estate market. I challenge you. I challenge you to call around. Hey, listen, so what's it look like? What's the, can you give me a regression analysis? Can you tell me what's looking like in your market? How many list pendencies are just sitting there? How many people are in foreclosure in the immediate area? No one's going to tell you that. No, that's great. Sales are up. It's a hot market. That's because they make their money that way. Now, on the other side, I want it to be a hot market when I'm selling, and I want it to be a lukewarm market when I'm buying. And right now, we have the best of both worlds. That's kind of weird. Think about that. We have a bunch of inventory, a bunch of shadow inventory that's basically a distressed buyer's nirvana with a smoking hot retail market. Did you understand what I just said? We have a huge amount of distressed shadow inventory and a smoking hot retail market. Think about those two things and how incongruous they are, that they're working simultaneously. If you can get a property and get a good discount, it's going to sell like that. Because people are moving from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, points north, and trying to come to South Florida. But they don't see this. Everyone's talking about the hot market. You know why it's hot? Because there's no inventory. So what if you're the person who's coming up with the inventory and you're buying a house, quote, with $100,000 spread and bringing it to market in a smoking hot market, and it goes to contract in 2 days? Most realtors would say, I don't know what Barry's talking about. We're getting 7, 8, 9 offers on every listing we put up there. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's smoking hot. So if you had more inventory and you knew where to get the other inventory, you're going to be able to take advantage of both sides. That hasn't been that perfect storm has not been there for years and years. Yes, there's been distressed markets where we made a lot of money because we could buy properties at discount, short sale, and REOs, and then we would sell them. There's been hot markets, but there hasn't been a whole lot of shadow inventory. Right now, we've got both. We've got the best of both worlds staring us right in the face. So it's just a matter of, do you want to take advantage of it? Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've heard anybody talk about any of this. Let me know if you're a landlord that needs to get out of a property. I'd love to help you. And let me know if you'd like to partner on a couple deals. We are actively looking for investment partners to take down as many deals as we can. It's safe, it's profitable, and it's only going to get better. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
Your source for profit. Hear what you need to know to succeed in today's real estate market.
Hey, if you guys are looking for some information on some of the other videos that we put together, go ahead and click one of the things up here on this YouTube screen and watch the next video. Talk to you guys next time.